Audi A4. This is a 2008 model, and I am currently in the middle of doing a diagnostic on this. I have already done a considerable amount of checks, and the fault in this car is related to the charging system. So it sometimes gets voltage going back to it and never gets the full amount. It's always a low amount of voltage charge that's going into the battery, and then it will stop charging altogether. It will cut out the charge, and it will just have the normal battery voltage alone. And if you have, let's say, the AC on, if you have your lights on and so on, as you can imagine, the battery starts to drain down from there. So after a few checks being done, I located the battery in the boot, and I checked on the scan tool to see if the battery had been coded in, because I found that there was a new battery in the boot, and I found out that the battery was not coded into this car. In Audis and in this particular car, there's an energy management saving system. So what that means is when you replace the battery, you must code it in. There can be differences in the amount of voltage that allows through if you have a battery change and you don't code it in. So you can have a very good battery, but that new battery might not be getting the full amount of charge, and the energy management system can cut off the battery charge if it is not coded in correctly. So I've already checked that. I'm going to put it up on VAGCOM. I'm going to show you how I checked that, and then I'm going to show you the new battery, the coding process, and basically how I'm going to rectify this particular issue. Okay, so this is the new battery that was fitted into the vehicle. I checked each side of it, and there was no stamp on it whatsoever. There was no QR code sticker, and there was no BEM code, and BEM code is the code I was looking for. That gives you the information to code in. Got onto the suppliers of this battery, and there is no BEM code available at all in this range, which instantly I knew once I found out that information that this battery needed to come out. Even though it was showing good voltage and so on, I need something that can be coded in. After ringing around, there was nothing in stock in any of the suppliers, so I went to Audi Direct. Had to wait a couple of days to get the battery because it had to be ordered in specially, and I have it down here. So this is the battery, and the code I am after is this one down here. So see that? This BEM code is the code you need, so you can actually code the battery in, and you gotta have that. Make sure if you're buying a new battery that you have that information to put in, or you could run into difficulty. It mightn't be straight away, it might be down the line. If your charging system decides to pump in, let's say, half the amount of charge for a couple of months, all it will do is shorten your battery life. So you'll find that it's never fully charging properly, and you'll have to replace your battery a lot sooner than expected. So I've just fitted the new battery there. I'm going to go in and plug in VAGCOM now and start to code in the battery. I'm going to show you the steps for that. So I've got my VAGCOM loaded up, and the beauty about this system is you don't have to enter anything. You just press on the module that you want, and it self picks all the information from the ECU. So we've gone in, and what I want is to go into number 19 CAN gateway, and you'll see all this information here being pulled from the ECU. And I want to go in down here then to long adaptation, and if you go up to this tab, drop down menu, you will see battery information / battery replacement. So when you get to this screen here, you will have the stored value. That is the value of the battery that was previously fitted and coded correctly. You want to make sure when you're fitting the new battery that after you've put in the new value and test it, that this value changes here. When you log out and come back in, this side of it here needs to go to the new information. If you get this old code coming back up again down here, you'll need to go back in and redo it so that the stored value changes. So the formatting for this is the battery part number here, this is the vendor code here, MLA, and this is the serial number here. So that's the way they do it. So it's that, then that, then that. And this should be a 10 or 11 digit code. If it's 10, you'll want to put 2 spaces here, then the 3-digit vendor code or product code, and then finally the serial number. Enter it down here, press test, and done, and go back and come back in and check it afterwards. I've just typed in the new values now, and as you can see, all of these need to be in uppercase in the letters, and make sure that you don't confuse the zeros with the actual O's. So that will give you a wrong reading as well. Once that's entered, click test.
Dude, what the fuck?
Leaving this code the same. So see that old code, I didn't change that. I just put in the new product code, VAO, and the serial number, and got it from there. So I would suggest, if you're entering the new value, click test, and the test value keeps coming back as the old stored value, try that out. Just change the second half of it, so the vendor number and then the 10-digit number here, but leave this the same, and see if it'll change. As soon as I done that, it did change. If you want to make sure that it has saved that, you come back out and you go back into the long adaption, do the same thing again, and look down here and make sure that that number has changed. Once you get that, you know it's been a successful coding, and you can go about doing the regular tests that you would. Bring it for a test drive, make sure that the voltage is correct, and you should be fine from there. I'm going to do a test drive now, and I'm going to go back out of here and go into the measuring blocks, and 18, 19 and 20 is the ones you want to bring up here to get all the relevant information. I haven't brought it for a road test yet, but straight away I can see dramatic changes at idle. The voltage here, which is the alternator current that's going in, is a massive increase. That used to be 13.1, fluctuating to 13.2, and would drop to 13 flat at times. The battery state was at 50% as shown in MMI. It's gone straight up to 100%. So them two indications straight away show that this has been a success. We have coded it in right, and the information from the measuring blocks is picking up the new battery like it should, which is giving you the information through the battery management system correct as well. I'm just going to bring it for a last test drive, then I'm going to put everything back together again. And as you can see here, the battery voltage coming from the alternator, putting in charge, is getting up to the height you wanted. It's now 13.9, fluctuating at 14 volts. And if you have an alternator that's not pumping in enough charge, you look down here and it's 13.1, 13.2. Brought it for a road test, was dropping off to 12.9, and then eventually it was going to battery voltage. This could well be your problem. You may just need to recode in the new battery and get it to read the voltage from that and rectify the battery management system. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like, share, comment and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure that you ring that bell so that you get notifications of any new videos that I post, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.